A streak of blood on the toilet paper at age 66 is exactly the kind of thing people shrug off for weeks. Yet colorectal cancer is diagnosed most often between ages 65 and 74, and when it is found before it has spread, the 5-year survival rate is about 91%. In 2026, an estimated 158,850 Americans will be diagnosed with colorectal cancer, and 55,230 will die from it. The danger is often not the first symptom. It is the delay, the self-talk, and the decision to wait, because it must be hemorrhoids, age, stress, or something you ate. That delay can cost a person far more than a doctor visit. It can cost energy for the yard, the patience to play with grandkids, the strength to travel, the comfort of sleeping through the night, and the simple freedom of trusting your own body. Colon cancer often starts as a polyp, a small growth in the lining of the colon or rectum, and screening can sometimes remove that polyp before it turns into cancer. But many people still miss the window. Screening is recommended from ages 45 to 75, yet only about 7 in 10 adults ages 50 to 75 are up to date. And here is the hard truth. Many people do not realize early colon cancer may cause no symptoms at all. That means symptoms matter, but they are not a substitute for screening. The signs that do show up are often the ones people explain away. The first is a new change to pencil-thin or ribbon-like stools. That can happen when a growth narrows the passage inside the colon or rectum, so stool is forced through a tighter space. Thin stool by itself does not prove cancer. But if it is new, keeps happening, or shows up with pain, bleeding, fatigue, or anemia, it should not be ignored. The second sign is blood in the stool that looks like hemorrhoids. Blood can be bright red, dark maroon, or even black and tarry depending on where it is coming from. This is one of the easiest warnings to dismiss, especially if there has been constipation or straining. But repeated bleeding darker blood, or bleeding along with a change in bowel habits or fatigue, deserves medical attention. Any blood in the stool should be taken seriously. The third sign is feeling like you still need to go even after a bowel movement. Doctors sometimes call this incomplete evacuation. A tumor in the rectum or lower colon can irritate the bowel or partly block it, creating that lingering sensation that something is still there. The fourth sign is alternating constipation and diarrhea. A cancer or large polyp can disrupt how stool moves through the bowel. Partial narrowing can slow things down, while irritation can speed things up. People often call this IBS or blame a bad meal, but a new and persistent change in bowel habits is a classic warning sign. The fifth sign is lower abdominal cramps, gas, pressure, or ongoing discomfort. A growing lesion can irritate the bowel wall or partly block stool passage, which can lead to cramping, bloating, or pain. The sixth sign is unexpected fatigue. This often happens because of slow, chronic blood loss into the stool. Over time, that can drain iron stores and lead to iron deficiency anemia. When iron and hemoglobin drop, you may feel tired, weak, short of breath, or unusually drained by activity that used to feel easy. The seventh sign is unexplained iron deficiency itself, especially after 50. Sometimes the lab work tells the story before the bathroom does. A person may never notice visible blood, yet hidden bleeding from a colon polyp or cancer can quietly lower iron. If blood work suddenly shows iron deficiency anemia, it deserves real follow-up. And one more point matters here. Severe abdominal pain, vomiting, or being unable to pass stool or gas is not something to watch at home. That can point to an obstruction and needs urgent evaluation. Now for the pivot. because this is where a lot of people get confused. Food matters. Daily habits matter. But if you have these colon cancer symptoms, food is not the main answer. There is no credible evidence that oats, yogurt, fiber, or any supplement can safely treat possible colon cancer at home. If you have bleeding, persistent bowel changes, unexplained fatigue, or iron deficiency, the smart move is evaluation, and if you are overdue, screening. Food comes in as your long-term support plan. It helps lower risk, supports bowel health, and gives you something useful to do starting now. The strongest food pattern starts with fiber-rich whole foods, especially whole grains and other high-fiber foods. Whole grains such as old-fashioned oats, steel-cut oats, barley, brown rice, quinoa, 100% whole wheat bread, shredded wheat, and plain oat bran are linked with lower colorectal cancer risk. Part of the reason is simple. Fiber adds bulk to stool, helps waste move through the bowel, and may reduce how long the colon lining is exposed to irritating compounds. Some of that fiber is also fermented by gut bacteria into short-chain fatty acids, such as butyrate, which may support a healthier colon lining. A simple place to start is breakfast. Replace refined cereal or white toast with oatmeal or shredded wheat. That one swap can move your day in the right direction without feeling like a diet. Then build from there with foods naturally high in fiber. Black beans, lentils, chickpeas, pears with skin, apples with skin, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, carrots, avocado, chia seeds, and sweet potato with skin all help support regular bowel movement and a healthier gut environment. A practical goal for this week is 1 serving of beans or lentils each day, plus 1 high-fiber vegetable at lunch and another at dinner. Calcium-rich foods also deserve a place on the table. Dairy products and calcium are considered probable protectors in the research on colorectal cancer risk. Plain yogurt with live cultures, kefir, milk, calcium-fortified soy milk, and low-sugar cottage cheese are all reasonable choices. Calcium may help by binding certain bile acids and fatty acids in the gut, which may reduce irritation to the colon lining. This is about regular use as part of an overall eating pattern, not taking a magic pill. Vegetables and fruit are worth keeping in the picture too, even if the evidence is not as strong as many people assume. Broccoli, kale, cabbage, spinach, carrots, onions, tomatoes, apples, and oranges can help replace ultra-processed foods, support a healthier weight, and add more fiber and plant compounds to the day. I would not tell you 1 apple prevents colon cancer, but I would tell you that a plate built around real food is a smarter long-term bet than a plate built around processed meat and refined carbs. And that brings us to what to cut back on. Processed meat has some of the strongest evidence for increasing colorectal cancer risk. That means bacon, sausage, hot dogs, ham, salami, pepperoni, and deli meats with nitrites should be occasional at most, not everyday staples. Red meat in excess also raises risk. You do not need perfection. You need fewer meals where processed meat is the center of the plate, and more meals built around beans, lentils, whole grains, vegetables, fruit, and calcium-rich foods. Do not forget movement. Physical inactivity is a real risk factor, and research cited by the National Cancer Institute found that the most physically active people had a 19% lower risk of colon cancer than the least active. That does not mean you need a gym membership. It means your body benefits when you walk more, sit less, and keep the bowel moving. So here is the calm, practical takeaway. Do not panic over every stomach cramp. But do not explain away repeated bleeding, new thin stools, ongoing bowel changes, the feeling that you cannot empty, unexplained fatigue, or iron deficiency. Those are not symptoms to self-treat with extra fiber and hope. This week, do 3 things. If you are overdue for screening, schedule it. If you have one of these warning signs, call your doctor. And at home, make one simple food upgrade you can repeat. Oatmeal instead of refined cereal, beans or lentils once a day, and a high-fiber vegetable at lunch and dinner. That is how you protect your future with both urgency and common sense.